Hey everybody, and welcome back to Dude's Brunch, your late night morning talk show. I'm your host, Taylor Olmstead, and with me this week to talk about brunch and life and the internet, it's Tyler Reed. Tyler, what did you have for brunch today?
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, I went to Sleepy Bee. I had my usual. I had my favorite sandwich, Gouda, egg, apple, and some mystery sauce I still don't know on a nice ciabatta bun.
And black coffee?
And black iced coffee.
How many times a week do you go out for breakfast or to eat?
Well, last week was an edge case because I hadn't prepared like lunches for the day job. So it was pretty frequent. But I literally just got done cooking two two-person meals, so I should be able to not eat out for lunch one day this week. But that being said, so breakfast has just been reduced to Friday or Saturday and Sunday.
But that's with Catherine, right?
Right.
Yeah, so they're doing it as like a date thing, Sean. Cut him some slack.
I just... sad that I can't do that.
Well, you and I live in really expensive cities. You heard him earlier. It's Sean Evans. Sean, other than, your usual crippling sadness, what did you have for brunch today?
I had coffee. I didn't have to work today, so got to make coffee, and I had...
Fair enough.
Par for the course. It's good.
We had something this morning. I forget what it was.
Was it a quiche?
Oh no, that's what it was. Okay, so we got the spice cake from Trader Joe's, and I had a couple pieces of that.
That's good stuff.
Coffee. It was good.
Do approve. Well, as I said, I'm your host Taylor, and this morning I had a fried egg and a piece of toast and some black coffee as well, and it was a thoroughly solid routine brunch. So, if you didn't see our post on Facebook previously or the blog post on our website, we're trying something a little bit new right now. We're kind of changing up the format of the show, trying to cut things down a little bit and kind of focus in on what makes Dude's Brunch what it is. And so
Tyler's face.
Yeah,
Tyler's face, mostly. The show is all about Tyler's face now.
The show's going to shave still. Hold on.
Oh, no.
I forgot to shave today.
Jeez, get it together, Reed. So the show's going to feel a little bit different for a couple of weeks. It's going to be a little bit rocky. We would appreciate your feedback in comments on YouTube and Facebook or as a tweet. Let us know how we're doing. We want to start off with a little bit of follow-up, something that's new to the show. And I want to talk a little bit about Bob Dylan. We spoke about Mr. Dylan in episode 72 and his winning the Nobel Prize. Did you guys see this week that the Nobel Committee is calling Bob Dylan arrogant for not responding to their letter saying he won the Nobel Prize?
I think that's probably the most appropriate word for that.
I wish Zach was here to do an impression of, I would just pitch in the scenario of, what did Bob Dylan say when he got the letter?
I'm not sure he even read it, honestly. I can imagine Bob Dylan either doesn't go through his mail, he, has somebody who does that for him, or he just
Bobby,
burns
you
it
got
all.
Another award, Bobby!
I mean, if you were Bob Dylan, would you write back accepting the Nobel Prize?
Hell no.
If I was Bob Dylan, that would assume that Bob Dylan was me, and I would.
That is an interesting Freaky Friday body swap scenario.
I'd probably call.
Leave a voicemail.
Send a text.
I don't leave voicemails. I just hang up if they didn't pick up after 2 rings. That'd be something Bob Dylan would do.
That is something Bob Dylan would do. I'm with Sean. I think I would probably reach back out in some manner. And then if they didn't respond fast enough, just give up. I mean, he doesn't need to go to that. He's
I wouldn't say thank you, though.
No, you accept it and you tell them whether or not you're going to be at the ceremony, but I don't think you need to thank them or anything. Also,
I don't know why you guys are being way too nice. Why doesn't he just blow his nose with the letter? He's like, whatever, man.
I mean, that's probably what he did. But another piece of follow up, I just wanted to point out that apartment hunting is fucking hard. We talked about living alone in episode 70, and I'm currently looking for an apartment, and it's terrible. And I just felt like y'all should know that. And I wanted to thank Sean for his advice on apartment hunting in that episode, particularly about checking inside of cabinets and checking the water pressure. Very useful advice, Sean.
Just gotta do it. Gotta turn those handles and open up those doors. See what's going on back there.
Are you living by yourself, Taylor?
No, I'm staying with one of my current roommates.
Nice.
We're downsizing from a 3-bedroom to a 2-bedroom.
So
scandalous.
I know, right?
That's the answer.
And other things that have happened since we last recorded. There was a third presidential debate. Did anybody actually watch this garbage fire?
Yes. I have it.
When was it again?
Wednesday.
So no.
Oh, that's right. I was.
Don't make up an excuse. Who cares?
You didn't watch it?
I did not. You're right. You got me.
Sean, is there anything...
Tyler Reed, inept from the democratic process. No, I'm just kidding.
Sean, is there anything we missed during this debate?
How much did you watch of the...
All I know is that Trump will accept the results if he wins.
Which is not how that works.
So you know the memeable moments then?
Pretty much.
And the only thing that was probably missed out was that I think there was a Twitter account that was made that was Wellesley College of Nasty Women.
Oh, Nasty Women. Yeah, Nasty Women.
Yeah, we might want to Google that and see if that actually exists. I did hear that was a thing. I'm trying to think if there is anything else that was like particularly memorable.
Was that when he said bad hombre, or is that an
Oh, that's another one. That's the other meme moment.
Yeah, this country is full of bad hombres.
Yeah. Did you guys see
this week on Hombre Brunch? No, I haven't watched this week's SNL yet.
Okay. That one's, okay, so now that they have 3 of those sketches, it's kind of already dead. Like, the joke's already gone, but they did Black Jeopardy, and Tom Hanks played the Trump supporter on Black Jeopardy. Hilarious.
Was there a Melania moment this week?
Not really. She kind of said that she didn't support his...
No, I mean the SNL sketch Melania moments.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah, it's my new favorite SNL sketch. They're all like 30 seconds long, and there's this little piano intro, and it says Melania moments, and a narrator describes Melania Trump's thoughts about things. And so it'll be like, Melania Trump looked out the window down on Fifth Avenue. She saw a man crossing the street. Where is he going, she thought. Could there be other avenues? Is there a 6th avenue? And that's it. Like, that's all it is.
Oh. I'm trying to think if there's any other follow-up that we need to do about stuff. No. Okay, I'm good.
Anything on Fraggle Rock, Renaissance festivals, or ambient music?
We could all safely assume no one went to their friendly local festival of the Renaissance.
Sure didn't.
Well, it was worth a shot.
So the big news this week that I'm sure Tyler was aware of, and I don't know if Sean saw this or not, was Nintendo announced their new console, the Nintendo Switch. Sean, did you see this?
Not until you posted it.
Tyler, were you following this at all?
I'm trying to think of where I was.
Oh my god, nerd alert.
Where I was when I saw
well, I
the
remember
Nintendo
exactly
Switch.
where I was when I
That's
heard
right, it
about
was...
the Nintendo Switch.
I was trying to figure out if I was at work or conveniently after work. No, it was definitely during a long drawn out work session. I was like, perfect. Let's watch this video.
So pretty similar. I was at work in the middle of designing something and just got totally stuck. So I checked Twitter and it was exploding with Nintendo Switch stuff. So I watched the launch video and put it in the show notes. If people haven't seen this, I would suggest pausing this here and going to watch the video because it's going to be kind of strange to describe this thing if you haven't looked at pictures of it. Also, I don't know how you live on the internet and haven't seen this video by now.
Because you don't care about video games?
Potentially, but it's been everywhere.
I was more interested in Google Pixel this week.
Also a good one. Also a good one.
So there we go. That's not my excuse, but that's what I was looking at.
That's fair. But let's talk about the Switch. So the Switch is a new home video game console, but it's not really just a console because it has a screen in it, and you can like dock the controllers to the side of it and carry it around like an iPad with controllers on the edges. I don't know how else to describe it other than that.
It's a transformer, Taylor.
Yes, it's a transformer.
Robots are in disguise
as machines with which you play Zelda and Mario.
And apparently Skyrim.
Yeah, and apparently Skyrim. So there are like 2 different kinds of controllers for this thing. There's like these 2 little sticky thingies that dock onto the sides of it or can be used on their own. And then there's like a regular normal person controller. And apparently you can play it hooked up to a TV as the iPad or sitting down and like holding the things like Wiimotes, like for the original Wii.
Well,
I don't know.
no,
It seems like there are a billion ways to play this thing.
That's a bad way to describe what you're getting from this thing. Essentially,
okay, explain it, Sean.
Like no, because essentially what you made it sound like was you could take your iPad and just put it in where a TV is. No, it's not like that at all. It's like if you took a Game Boy and connected it to the Wii console.
Yeah,
and it was
that is
all
a better
one and the same
description.
thing. But the Wii console was a screen, and you were able to like broadcast on your TV and then pick up the Wii and or maybe a Wii that was a Game Boy and kind of take it with you.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of bridges the genres that Nintendo originally, the platforms that they already have.
That's a good way of describing it.
Is that a safe way of saying
That's a good summary.
See, meanwhile, you guys are on Twitter just wasting your time looking around on it, and somebody who's a complete noob at this stuff can just school you on what it looks like.
Well, I was on Twitter mostly reading the spin about it. We'll get to that in a second. But, I mean, the obvious question is, do you guys want one of these?
Yes, I guess. It's really cool, but I don't know. There was parts of the commercial that we'll have to talk about later on in the section where I was just like, there's no way you're doing that on that thing.
But just so far.
But do I want one? Yes.
Okay. We have to take them at face value, at least for
right now.
A whole minute.
No, because I mean, just to put you in my headspace, I spent a large part of my day today just wondering if I could somehow transfer my contacts from my iPhone over to a Google Pixel.
The answer is yes. There's a little cable that does that. It's called a switch cable. And it's like the big revolutionary thing about this phone, besides the fact that Google's making it.
Okay, keep going.
So they just made a cable that's like, hey, do you like iPhone? Do you want all your apps and contacts and anything you've ever wanted back?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
It sounds like a brain switcher.
Oh my god. They're like, God, there's just no way we're going to be able to beat the iPhone unless we literally make this mad genius scientist invention that means that you can just take everything from an iPhone and put it in our phone.
To be fair, it only transfers your contacts, calendars, and I think text message history. So it doesn't transfer any of your apps or anything like that. And I'm not even sure it can transfer your photos. It's not out yet, so nobody knows exactly what all it can do.
Okay, sorry, I diverged from that. Let's go back to
Tyler,
Nintendo, whatever the hell.
Do you want a Nintendo Switch?
Considering the fact that I've only bought portable Nintendo systems, both from Nintendo and in terms of gaming consoles within the last, probably 10 years, yeah.
That basically means that you only have one Nintendo thing then? 2 or 3 Nintendo things?
He has all the Nintendo things.
Well, let's not get excited. I have a 3DS, then I have a regular DS, and then I have a Game Boy Advance, and then I had an Xbox 360, but I barely played that, and I bought a PS3 right when it's about to die.
You had a Wii though at your house.
See, that's the weird thing is that my mom bought the Wii for exercise things that she never did, and I just kind of inherited it.
I was going to say because I remember playing the Wii at your house in high school.
I meant more something I've consistently really used, but right. I personally didn't buy that.
That's fair.
I went out of my way to get a DS and a 3DS. But yeah.
So I haven't had a Nintendo console since the GameCube, and I haven't had a portable since the Game Boy Advance. So I'm pretty far off the Nintendo train and kind of off the video game train at this point in my life. But this thing is sweet, and I totally want one. I'm not going to buy one until I see the list of games that are on it, because my fear always with Nintendo systems is that it looks really cool, and then there's only 4 good games for it. So I'll probably wait like 6 months after it comes out and see what the game lineup looks like, and then if I still want it at that point, I'll get one. But I'm not going to go out on the first day, because you'll only get like whatever Mario or Zelda game comes with it, and that's the only thing you'll have to play for at least 2 months. And I don't want to do that.
I feel like you're more excited about it from this perspective of it as a piece of technology, and not so much like gaming necessarily. I mean, obviously you want to play games on it, but like it feels like it's. I feel like you'd be interested in it because it's doing something that's completely different and like sort of like really forward thinking.
It's a little bit of both. I'm not gonna lie. I do love it as a piece of technology, but I've also kind of wanted to console game again. Now that I have like a 9-to-5 job and more spare time in the evenings, and the only console I have in my house right now, that's mine, is my old N64. And those games, like, they're fun, but I can't play them for long bouts just because, like, you know, they're old N64 games. And I've played through all of them because I only have like 5. So I would like to get one because I think it would be a fun pastime in the evenings. It's just going to depend, like I said, on what games come out and whether or not any of my friends have it, because I want to be able to play online against my friends if that's a thing that it does, which, according to the video, it looks like it, but we'll see. But let's talk about the launch video, because that's all we've seen so far, and it's an interesting piece of advertising. Sean, you want to talk about this?
If you have a Nintendo Switch and you ever run into the girl from *Halt and Catch Fire* in an airport and sit down and play video games with her, please tweet yourself doing that, because you're probably going to be the only person ever. So just putting that one out there.
Yeah, for real.
And the other thing that was like really weird was at the end there when they had those guys playing basketball, and then I'm assuming they go and play like NBA 2K17 or something, and there's like 4 of them watching this little tiny like 3x3 inch screen, and they're all sitting like 4 feet back from it. There is no way that is possible. That's like trying to use your TV remote to play a video game on the face of a coffee cup. Just unrealistic about what this thing is really going to be. Like, Nintendo needs to stop lying that you're just going to be able to, like, freestyle gaming, street cred, yeah! Because it's not. It's, like, handheld here and then going and hooking it up to your TV.
I am a little bit worried about the screen. I think you're right. The screen's not going to look that good from far away, and it's probably not going to look that good in very many angles. Like, I can imagine you're going to set it down in some places and it's going to get a glare on it and it'll be totally unusable.
Play your video games inside, kids. That's okay. It's fine.
Play video games inside like a normal.
It's not... No one's going to get mad at you for being like, we can't take it outside and play it. It's totally cool to be inside now. We're millennials. Nothing matters. Just watch advertisements that make fun of us all the time.
I mean,
too real?
A little bit. It was. Well, I mean, to be fair, we also had to listen to when we were hipsters, apparently. So there was that, and then before we were emo kids, and so what are we? We have no identity. Our identity is defined by the oldest generation.
Anyway, Tyler, what did you think of the product video?
I thought it was pretty. To Sean's comment, I think it's like, I don't know if a full basketball team is gonna be able to play on a single one, all huddled around together. But I mean, like, I can imagine 2-player would probably be acceptable.
Yeah, I love the part in the car where the 2 people are sitting in the back seat playing it together. I think that's a really cool, realistic use for this thing.
Right, with their mystery device that, like...
Yeah, it has the weird car clip thingy.
Yeah, I don't know what that's for.
Who knows?
Is it a Nintendo Switch officially branded...
Car mount? Can you mount it on your dashboard? And play Mario Kart while you drive?
I mean... I'm in. I guess overall in the video, I mean, who plays video games while they're walking their dog, first of all?
Oh, that part made me so mad.
Like, just walk your fucking dog.
Yeah, just walk your dog. Also, that dog is way too big to live in that tiny apartment with him. That thing is massive.
His 200 square feet. Come on, dog, let's go.
Let's go outside so I can play video games and not pay attention to you.
Right, I love the streets of New York.
Also,
with my Nintendo Switch, everything is not such a...
Also, the part where they're going to, like, the esports Olympics or whatever the fuck, and they all are, like, dramatically plugging all their Nintendo Switches into the dock thing.
Question. It's a clerical thing here. When you're getting ready to do one of these video game thingies, what's the point of having handheld devices in front of you and then drawing stuff on a chalkboard?
Good question. I noticed that, too. They're, like, strategizing on a chalkboard about how to play the games. I think it's because this thing is not a touchscreen. And they were like, man, we need to show, like, serious strategy and, like, teamwork. Oh, but it's not a touchscreen like an iPad, so they can't draw on it. I think that's going to be the big drawback of this, is that you're going to have to, like, move a cursor with the little joystick, and there's not going to be any sort of touch.
I mean, as long as it's not shitty user interface, it should be fine. I mean...
This is true.
I mean, you do the same thing generally with like Xbox or PlayStation. They don't
have touchscreens.
Have like a freewheel, like through like anywhere movement kind of thing. It's just all tip taps.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. But I think that was just like their way of getting around the fact that it's not a touchscreen. And that kind of brings me to another piece of this marketing that I'm really interested in. Nintendo's kind of like coming out of the gate swinging with this marketing. Have you seen any of the other materials for this? I posted in our Slack, and I'll post it in the show notes. They have like a diagram of what the Switch looks like and how it works. And on one side of it, there's a headphone jack, and there's a little arrow, and it says, "Save the courage for Link." And I was like, oh, really? You could take a low blow at Apple like that?
Is that what that was?
Yeah, because when Apple said that they were pulling the headphone jack out of the iPhone 7, Phil Schiller on stage said, "We're doing this because of one word, courage." And so Nintendo is making fun of Phil Schiller for saying courage. It's a pretty nerdy joke.
But exactly, in all the circles that Taylor enjoys.
I thought it was hilarious, but surprising.
You see, the thing is, they could have made that joke so much funnier. It's like, why didn't they just put like highlights around all the buttons and been like, middle finger iPhone, more than one.
Right. And that's kind of where this chalkboard scene fell flat for me, because I was like, yeah, you've got a headphone jack, but it's still not a touchscreen.
Who cares?
Right. But that's what somebody at Apple is saying right now. I'm not saying that's a good idea, but...
Oh my god.
But it doesn't have 3D on it. You can't see it in the 3D. Who gives a shit?
It can't play
It
Blu-rays.
plays the video games. Yeah.
I have come to expect so much and so little from video game systems as of late. I can't even tell you. Like, across from my store is a Windows store. And every day, in and out of work, I get to watch people play on the Super VR. You guys seen this thing?
Oh, the Microsoft HoloLens?
Yeah. And, like, it's got a little fan in front of it, and it's got little joysticks and all this other stuff. But the games that you play on that thing are, like, the equivalent of what you got when you bought Atari in 1970-some. It's like, shoot arrows at these balloons, paint in the sky, like, walk around in this room. And I'm thinking, like, who is buying this garbage? And I don't even want to ask how much it costs, because it would just probably make me even more like, what are you doing? Like, this beta round crap.
It's called innovation, Sean.
Yeah, Sean.
Everything's much more immersive when it's in 3 dimensions.
Yeah, that's it. Because you totally forget where you're at when you have something heavy strapped to your face and headphones covering both your ears. Yeah, totally immersed in the experience. That makes sense.
Not to mention all the wires hanging off of you.
Right.
For the
Not to
whole
mention you have to
15
have
minutes you can
60
use
feet.
it.
You gotta have 60 feet of clearance in any direction with that stupid thing.
To be fair, there is a pretty funny video of this guy that does pretty journalistic video game content, and he had like a VR thing on, and he went to Japan. And he did this thing where it had like this VR headset on, and so it was basically like he was on just like this little board, like it was basically enough for him to like walk. And the scene that created for him in virtual reality was that he was like walking on this plank that was like going off like a skyscraper, and he was trying to pick up a cat and then bring it back. And so like all you can see is like it's like way zoomed out, like someone's taking like is like videoing him like doing this, and he's like because he's like really like being like actually scared that he's gonna fall off this, at least even a little bit, because it's like I guess it helps that there's there's like
a physical thing there, yeah. I saw. So there's a similar thing. There's an episode of Cortex where they talk about trying out the Oculus with their new hand controllers that like fit like gloves over your hand or something, and like your finger movements can manipulate objects. I don't know. It's weird shit that like isn't available to the public yet. But they talk about at one point Myke Hurley visibly and like audibly reacting to something in the VR experience, and like it's not real, but your brain is like the primitive monkey part of your brain reacts to it so quickly that he like flinches and kind of yells a little bit, and then realizes how dumb it is that he just did that and starts laughing. And his girlfriend was like taking video of him as it happened. I'll put a link to the video in the show notes, but it's so strange. Like, I agree with Sean that these games are so beta round that it's kind of pitiful, but then to watch people react to them as if it's real is really strange. And it makes me want to try it. I still haven't tried VR, so.
Well, I'll sign the fuck up as soon as they get like Tron game in, some light cycles, then I'm in.
In the meantime, I guess we'll just have to neglect our pets and play with our Nintendo Switch.
Which I'm pretty excited about. I just don't care about super 100% realistic graphics, like, or whatever, pushing the envelope.
No, I just want fun games. I think that's why I'm coming back to Nintendo, is that I just want a fun game to play when I get home from work. I just want to, like, be Mario and jump on some Goombas.
See, and that's why I'm down for buying this thing.
Right?
If I had the disposable income to get it, because I want something like that, but I don't want to, I guess I like what Tyler said when he said that's what he wants of a video game system. I already have like a Roku and stuff, and I can connect all this stuff. I'm not really looking for something else to be like my media center.
Like the Wii U is pretty much been critically panned as a failure for the most part. No one really likes it because it has no games, but it does. It has some games, but not a lot, of course, because
it was also a nightmare of branding.
Right. Well, we don't even talk about it, but we all know. Who would have thought? But I mean, to be fair, there was a lot of stuff on the Wii U that was really kind of like a good like middle ground, sort of like games that were like you could pick up and you could play for a little bit, and then you get a satisfying experience out of it, and then you can just put it down. Like, for example, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is a game where you're just Toad and you're solving these little like physical puzzles. You're kind of moving around, and it's cute, and it's just enough of a strategic taste, and you're like, oh, that was fun. You play a little bit. You're not like dying to get back to it, but you're like, oh, I just want to sit down and relax for a little bit, play something. I was like, this is perfect. Like Yoshi's Woolly World, a visual masterpiece, because they're working on like how can we make blood more realistic? How can we make like these bullets be more bullets? And like meanwhile they're like, what if we just made Yoshi look like he was actually made out of yarn? And then as a matter of fact, what if we made everything look like it's made out of yarn? And it's you're like, wow. It just feels so good. It feels so nice. It's like you played Yoshi's Island, or no, it was Yoshi's Story, and you're like, this is a weird ass world, but it's cute and different, and you're like, you can really see what they were going for in Yoshi's Woolly World. So I mean, there's stuff there. That's what I'm excited for. Is like with the Switch, is that they'll kind of take this idea of not like going for this like super
Call of
like
Duty 27.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's the other direction of let's take all this technology that we have and use it for like cartoon style enhancement instead of like realism. So.
Right. The only thing that I think I would miss is every once in a while one of those games comes out that's like halfway between the realistic shooter and like the story-driven puzzle game. You know, things like your Half-Lifes or your Portals. Really anything that Valve does. I would miss having those sorts of games if I got a Nintendo console, but I could just play those on a PC or a Mac. Like, I don't feel bad, so yeah. I mean, if I was going to buy a new game console, and I don't know that I am, I would probably wait and get the Nintendo Switch. It looks cool.
If you're going to gun shoot, you're not going to do it on a console.
That's also true. Well, I like playing narrative-driven games. We've established this. Anything else?
Oh, my last question was, is there going to be any integration of Nintendo, whatever it was that we had to do for Tyler's topic earlier?
Miitomo?
Yeah.
Oh god, that thing's so fucking dead. Which is which when you step back from it, I'm like, yeah, maybe they should have been like, what kind of brand potato chips do you like to eat? I'm like, I'm Nintendo. I think this is Lay's, of course.
Tyler, remember that time when you told us that Miitomo was your new favorite social network?
It was, and you know what? I was wrong. It's fine.
You sure were.
Someone's got to say that every show on the new format. Someone has to.
You know what? I was wrong.
I was wrong.
To be fair, I had more fun playing Miitomo than most social networks I've ever been on. So
the bar was pretty low already.
Right. I mean, it was better than LinkedIn.
That was tense.
I guess that's the word for that.
All right, so it's time for our new segment on our newly revamped show, This Week in Internet Garbage. This week in Internet Garbage, we have a video from Sean. What the fuck is this, Sean?
Well, I found this on our favorite website, often recommended by Dude's Brunch, Reddit. And this is a video, which we'll post to in the links, of a drone trying to change a light bulb.
What subreddit did you find this in?
Just videos.
Oh my gosh.
How many hits does it have? Let's talk about that real fast.
This video has 1,201 hits as of 9:31 p.m. on October 23rd. It was published today. So it has 1,000 hits in less than a day.
I really thought this was probably the garbage of the internet, so let's watch this. What do you guys think of this internet garbage?
The first couple attempts, I was like, oh man, I see how this video is going to go. I was just expecting like crash after crash after crash, and it was going to be boring and just lame. And then they got it to work, and it was super awesome, and I was really excited. And then I stopped caring.
Because the video is over, right?
Right, basically.
Okay, alright. Well, that, to be fair,
No,
that's the appropriate time to
actually,
stop caring.
they replay the screwing in the light bulb like 6 times in slow motion at the end, and I skipped all that because I was like, fuck this, I've already seen it.
I think one of my favorite things in this entire world is imposing the human condition onto inanimate objects.
You just really wanted to see the little drone that could?
That's right. I really just want to everything to just come alive and be like, hey, I'm Droney the drone. Watch me plug in a light bulb. I can do it if I just try really hard. Good thing I don't have to eat or pay rent.
I found it incredibly amusing to watch the light bulbs fall from the ceiling and smash on the floor. I don't know if that's some like juvenile about that, but I just started busting out laughing every single time that happened.
Oh no, it was great. And it's mostly because we've all broken a light bulb. We've dropped them. Sometimes we've screwed them too tight and then broken it in the little hole, and then you had to spend like an hour to get it out. We've all done it, so it was very satisfying to see.
Speak for yourself. I've never broken a light bulb that way.
Yeah, I never broke one in the socket.
Oh, so it's just me. I'm just the...
Just you and your bare hands. Just
Please, if anybody else has ever done this, tweet at us. I'm very curious if this is just Tyler.
I only know how to...
use the hashtag broke it in my socket.
I just had these giant oven mitts, and I was just like, come on, guys, let's get this light bulb in. Come on.
Using like a wrench on it or something.
Don't you guys do everything?
No.
That's a dead joke. But this video reminds me of the topic I think must have been months ago. I believe Sean provided us with that glorious moment. But it was the video where the train is just going around this track that's set up around this guy's house.
The Lego train,
yeah.
But the real nugget was the B-sides, the other videos of all the trains crashing. And so it has that same...
This had that same satisfying feeling to it, yeah, of like small-scale inanimate objects running into stuff. Hysterical. Every time the drone like hit the ceiling and fell, I was like, yep, that's still funny.
I was just waiting for it to break. I was surprised. That's a pretty resilient drone.
Well, in the description box, it says that it took them 2 drones to make it work. So they must have actually broken one. And those are not cheap drones. Yeah,
That's our internet garbage.
That was a good one. If you have a piece of internet garbage that you think we should dissect and discuss on this show, please tweet it at us. I don't have a clever hashtag, but just send it to us. We'll find it. So it's time. It's that time of the week. Time to round out the podcast with a round of Shameless Plugs. Our first set of Shameless Plugs this week is going to come from the legendary Tyler Reed. Tyler Reed, where can the people find you?
Hello, everyone. So glad of you to stop by and join us on this momentous occasion of episode 73 of the Dudes Brunch podcast. You can find my design and illustration at tylerdreed.com. You can follow me on the socials as TDR Design on Instagram and Twitter. You should also follow the Rook OTR so I can talk to you about board games.
Well put, sir. Sean Evans, where can the people find you if they want to berate you or ask you questions or comment on how pretty your beard is?
Oh, thank you. SEvans8910 is my Twitter hashtag and my Snapchat. Got a few new followers this week. Probably just, I don't know. I need to figure out how to make Snapchat stories. Social media correspondent Taylor Olmstead will have to help me figure out how to use the social medias this week.
You never open my snaps.
How do I get them? See, exactly. This is why we have to talk about this, because I'm having an old man moment.
Old man yells at Snapchat.
Yeah.
Well, I'm your host, Taylor, and you can find me on social medias as TC Olmstead. My last name is spelled OLMSTAAD. I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and Medium and all the things. You can also like the show on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. We're at Dudes Brunch. And I have another show called Force Fandom where I'm currently talking about Gilmore Girls with journalist Emily Bamforth. I secretly think that everyone on that show is on drugs. If you think so too, please listen to the podcast and tell me that I'm right. Other than that, thanks for joining us for our new format of Dudes Brunch. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please let us know, and we will see you next week for more brunch.